Okay, in this video now what we're going to be talking about is how do we manage those large tasks. Those large tasks that just seem to land on us that we have to get done. And particularly when we're working from home and we're trying to deal with everything else and we're looking after children, we're doing whatever we have to do, and we're trying to make sure that we also get these large tasks done. And sometimes it can be daunting and sometimes it can be very difficult. But it's quite simple. You know, in basic terms, all we need to get good at doing with large tasks is breaking them up. Just break the task up. There's a saying that's in management that a lot of people say, which is inch by inch, life is a cinch. By the yard, life is hard. So if you find that you have a large task that just lands and you have to deal with that and you're up to your eyes trying to do everything else and you're looking and saying, oh my God, I haven't got the time to do this, I've got to look after this, I've got the children that are here as well, I've got whatever it is that get in the way of that, particularly from working from home, then you have to look and say, well, okay, what can I do to break it down? So let's just assume that we are in a situation where we have a large task. And this large task that I have to do is put together 40 pages of something about football. So what I then have to do is I have to break it down and say, okay, what are the key things I'm going to cover? So for example, I might say, okay, the history of the FA Cup. I might say football during the war years, Premiership teams in league, 10 best known players, 25 largest stadiums, Premiership clubs, managers, etc. Doesn't really matter what I say. What I'm saying is that I break it down into little component parts. And if I was to give each part a little goal, and say, right, I'm going to cover the history of the FA Cup, I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to do that, and I'm going to do so many words on that, and I'm going to do that on Monday between 3 and 3:15, or whatever it may be. So then that's that bit done. And then the next bit I'm going to do is football during the war years, and I'm going to give that a component goal. And soon we will see that all of a sudden what seemed to be an impossible, daunting task is now something that's very, very easy, very, very manageable. So if we break it down and we break it down into chunks, then these things are manageable. It is often said, how would you eat an elephant? And the only way you can eat an elephant is by one bite at a time. And it's the same thing when these tasks land on your desk. You have to break it down. And if you do that, then you'll get through them. Because of course you can't do it all in one go. Of course we can't spend that much time on things. But if we digest them into digestible chunks, then it works. It's a bit like I saw a video many years ago and it said, you imagine have a lovely 7-course dinner and then all of a sudden the last course is a cheese plate and the waiter brings over a large Stilton cheese. You're not likely to eat it. It's overpowering, it looks too much. But if you're to break that Stilton cheese into small, little biteable chunks, we take a bite at a time and manage it. And the same thing applies for managing large tasks. So the key thing is, don't be afraid of large tasks, but always break them down inch by inch. Life is a cinch. By the yard, life is hard. And remember, you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time. It's the same with large tasks. Stay safe.